I put on more clothes, but I'm actually a lot cooler and I feel a lot better. What's up, Lazy Dog fam? Hope all y'all are having a wonderful day. It is Wednesday, August 7th here in South Georgia, and the wind has finally calmed down after Tropical Storm Debbie moved through here. So I figured on today's video I'd walk you around, show you some of the damage from all the wind. But first I want to address a comment we got on a recent video when somebody said, why in the world are you wearing long sleeves when it's 100 degrees outside? So if you've been following the channel for a while, you probably know that usually in the summer months when we're out here working in the garden, I'm wearing a tank top. But this year has been a little different. You may have noticed I've been wearing these long sleeve shirts all throughout the summer. And there are several reasons for that, which I'll explain here. One, my wife is always on my case about getting sunburnt all the time out here, not putting on sunscreen before I go out and work in the garden. We always have sunscreen in the house for the kids, but I always kind of forget to put it on. Secondly, I have a little bit of family history as far as skin issues due to too much sun exposure. My grandfather over the years has had just countless spots cut off his arms and all over his body that were a result of getting too much sun over the years. And I'm sure I'll have some issues at some point in my life, have to get some spots cut off my arms. I worked at a golf course in college wearing short sleeves all summer, and my skin was just getting toasted during those younger years and many years out here working in the garden before I started wearing long sleeves. So this year, at the ripe old age of 38, well, I'm 39 now, I decided to stop the bleeding a little bit, start protecting my skin a little more, and wearing long sleeves out here during the summer months. So this year I've been wearing these long sleeve, I guess you'd call them fishing shirts, these quick dry kind of UPF 50 fishing shirts. I get these from Sam's Club. You can get them for like 10-15 bucks a piece. Yeah, there's some different name brands out there. You can pay $40 or $50 for these kind of shirts, but Sam's Club usually has them for pretty cheap. And earlier this year I just went and bought me a bunch of them because I knew I was going to get them dirty and nasty and wanted to have plenty, because some days I might go through 2 or 3 shirts. And these things have been a game changer for me this summer. Not only do these long sleeve shirts protect your skin, but they also actually keep you cooler, a lot cooler than say a tank top or a short sleeve shirt. So what I didn't realize until I started wearing these all the time is that when you're wearing short sleeves or even a tank top out here, that sun beating down on your skin makes you even hotter. Yeah, you may think you're cooler because you have minimal clothing on, but that sun beating down makes you hotter, and it also makes you more tired. Since I started wearing these long sleeve shirts, I'm not near as exhausted when I go inside after working out here in the garden for several hours. So the fatigue is less wearing these, and I think it all has to do with the fact that you're not having that sun just beating down on your skin. Additionally, as these shirts get soaked with sweat, which doesn't take long out here this time of year, it actually cools you off. So kind of this evaporative cooling going on once they get nice and soaked. Now, I don't think I could wear some long sleeve cotton shirts out here or some of those long sleeve button up Dickies work shirts like some of the old timers wear. I think I would get too hot in those. But these real lightweight, quick dry fishing shirts are perfect out here during the summertime. So if you've never tried wearing long sleeves during the hottest part of summer, give it a try. I think you'd be surprised how much cooler you feel as opposed to wearing short sleeves. In addition to wearing these long sleeve fishing shirts, you may have noticed I don't wear the traditional ball caps anymore. I went to these hats right here, keep my ears from getting so burnt while I'm out here working in the garden. So these hats I've been wearing are called a Tilly hat, and if you've never had a Tilly hat, you don't know what you've been missing. And so I've got a white one of these that I've had for probably 10 years that I always wore camping, but rarely wore it when I was out here working in the garden doing these videos. It was just kind of my camping hat. But earlier this year I got me a few more because I wanted to keep those ears protected out here. So these Tilly hats, although a little more pricey than your average hat, are awesome, and they'll last you practically forever if you take a little care of them. Now, you can't put these in the washing machine. I have to hand wash them. Just put some hot water and detergent in the sink, kind of hand wash them. I'm not trying to get them super clean, just kind of rinse the sweat off of them every now and then. But anyways, hopefully that explains the wardrobe change out here in the garden this year. I put on more clothes, but I'm actually a lot cooler and I feel a lot better. Now let's walk around and check out some of the damage from Hurricane or Tropical Storm Debbie, which actually wasn't that bad here. Most of it went east of us. We did catch some of the outer bands, some wind, probably, you know, 25, 30 mile an hour wind. And we didn't get much rain here, probably only about 1.5 inches to 2 inches. But a couple counties away from us here got a lot more than we did. We were pretty fortunate here. So one of the things I was really worried about was my cucumbers here. We had just put up this trellis, we had just pruned some of these and kind of got them trained on the trellis. And although these got battered by the wind for about 1.5 days, they actually still look pretty dang good. You really can't even tell we had a tropical storm move through here. I'm really surprised how well these took it. But some other things didn't take it so well. This beautiful bed of Prospera basil that I had here took quite the beating. Still got more than enough basil for us growing in this bed, but it's not near as pretty as it was. Broke off some of those stalks there, got it leaning. I might can get it back upright if I go in and do a really kind of hard pruning on this. Hopefully get it standing back up, get it looking pretty again. And some of our zinnias here in the raised bed plot kind of suffered the same fate. Wind did a number on those, and that's okay because I'm probably about ready to be done with these zinnias. They've given us a ton of flowers since spring, and so I'm probably going to pull those out pretty soon. Maybe plant me some mustard greens there for fall. And then right here, sad to see, we had a sprinkler fall over. Wind just got too rough for it to stay standing up. That's okay. We don't really need it much longer in this plot right here. All that cover crop we planted a week or so ago has came up really, really well, getting nice and thick. So that's okay. We can probably unhook that sprinkler anyways. And that extra 1.5 to 2 inches of rain on top of some already wet soil kind of did a number on our watermelons, blew up some of the last few ones we had out here. So I think it's pretty much time to call it quits on the watermelon season, mow this down, get it cleaned up, plant a cover crop here. There are a few late ones in the bunch there. I'm not sure I'm going to wait on those though. But probably the most heartbreaking thing would be this giant blue field corn behind me. Just a couple videos ago, I was bragging on how pretty this looked and how we haven't had any tropical storms yet to do any damage to it. And what do you know, just as soon as I said all that, we get something that blows it down. As I've told you before, I'm not superstitious, I'm just a little stitious, and just so happened here I go talking about it, and then now it looks pretty rough. But it has recovered a little. Yesterday, this stuff was leaned over a lot more than it is now. So good to see some of it standing back up a little bit. I don't know that it will get all the way back upright like it was before the storm, but we might be able to salvage some here. We did have some stalks that just broke completely, like those couple right there. Nothing we can do about that. But hoping a majority of this stands back up. Hopefully our pollination wasn't affected too much. I've seen corn get blown over before. Never really seen the leaves get stripped off of it like these plants had here. That wind was just so consistent over a long period of time. A lot of the leaves got stripped off these stalks here. Now if we walk over here to the other side of the plot, we can see the damage a little bit better. It looks like that last row there kind of cushioned it a little bit. Those first couple rows took the brunt of the damage. Some of those right there, they're not standing back up, and some of these plants here I'm going to have to pull or cut because they're falling into my peas. These are those cow peas we planted just a few videos ago, and man, these things came up really well. Look at that nice double row I've got there. Got a nice row right there of those Ozark Razorbacks, and really happy to see my Tennessee purple peas germinated great for me this year. So I've just had some terrible luck trying to grow this giant blue field corn the last couple years. Last year it was Hurricane Idalia. This year it was Debbie. A lot of that has to do with the fact when I'm planting this stuff after my sweet corn is done. Probably next year, if I can save some good seeds off this behind me here, what I'll do is just stagger my plantings a little bit better. So a couple weeks after I plant my sweet corn, go ahead and plant this field corn. That way we can hopefully get it grown out and get it harvested before kind of the main part of hurricane season rolls around. And as we were looking at that field corn and those peas that had just germinated, you might have noticed a bunch of metal laying on the ground here, ladders and all kind of stuff. Got something very, very exciting going on right here. Not going to give you all the details on this video, but I will very soon. And then the last thing that I was a little bit worried about as we got news that the storm was coming through this area was some of my fig trees. Now these older established fig trees, I don't ever worry about those. Never seen those take any damage from a hurricane or a tropical storm. I guess it could get bad enough to hurt them, but usually your established trees are just fine. But I was worried about some of these young trees that the boys and I just planted a week or so ago. I didn't want these things to break. So I took all the wooden stakes I had under the barn. I wasn't able to do all of them, but I did the majority of them. Just put a wooden stake beside them, tied them up with some grafting tape there, and we didn't lose a single tree, which is great news. I did lose a few limbs, like on this 1-year-old Iraqi tree here. Had a few limbs, not break off completely, but I probably need to go ahead and cut those. I might go ahead and propagate those as well. This Iraqi looks like it's going to be a great variety. This thing has grown so much in just one season. And I had 1 or 2 of my 2-year-old trees do this right here, just kind of lean all the way over on the ground. It's not broke, it's not hurt, but it does need to be stood back up. So we'll need to put a stake around that, tie it up, keep it upright until those roots can get a little more established in the soil there. So we had a little bit of damage, but not much. Anytime we can get through one of these hurricanes or tropical storms with minimal damage, that is a huge win, and we are very, very thankful. Still got a long ways to go before we're done with hurricane season. We're very liable to get another hurricane or tropical storm rolling through here before it's all over with, but we just hope for the best. So I hope you enjoyed the video today, and if you missed that video last week where we talked about growing fall cowpeas and we showed you how we plant those that have already germinated, you can watch that right here. We'll show you some of the neat heirloom cowpea varieties that we're growing this fall. So check that out, and we'll see you next time right here at Lazy Dog Farm.